Okay, it is 7:35, and I would like to call this Monday, December 1st meeting of the Common Council of the City of Beaver Dam to order. We will begin with the roll call.
Bierman.
Here.
Bonnet.
Here.
Burnett.
Here.
Marie. Fisher.
Here.
Flaherty. Yansky.
Here.
Hiley. Here. Keel.
Here.
Olson.
Present.
Perkins.
Here.
Wild. Here. Yads.
Here.
Saab.
Here.
And next we will do the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silent deliberation. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, next up is our regularly scheduled public comment item. I have a list of 7 people who wish to speak. Did everybody who wished to speak have a chance to sign the list? Okay, then let me ask, is there anybody who signed the list who is not here to talk about the data center? Only because the last 2 times I made that mistake. Everybody? Okay, but just if they were here for a different portion of the meeting, I just wanted to make sure. Okay, again, let me just review our normal rules for protocol in the council. Speakers are asked to give their name and where they live when they come up. Please refrain from using profanity and name calling. Speakers are addressing the council, but please understand that council members cannot respond to your comments. And speakers are also asked to, the audience is asked to listen to all speakers respectfully. Each speaker is limited to 2 minutes. The clerk will be keeping time, and when you hear the alarm, please wrap up your thoughts. We ask that speakers attempt to avoid repeating concerns from earlier speakers if possible. I know sometimes that's hard. And that's it. So we're going to start with Steve Radusky. Oh, and Chris, will you make sure the mic is on?
Thank you. So in the last city council meeting,
I'm sorry, would you just state your name and where you live?
Steve Ryjeski. Ryjeski, if that helps. That's phonetic. Tracy knows better, but so I live here in Beaver Dam. I'm pretty close to this data center that's being built. And when you have it being built in your backyard, you have a different perspective than if you don't have to live next to it. And like, I just can't express that strongly enough. Part of this data center admin group of educating the public on what's going on, and the deeper we've dug, the worse it looks for us, long-term, short-term. And there's been a general breaking of the trust and a lot of the community members not knowing what was going on and having these decisions made on the biggest project in Beaver Dam's history without the public being well informed and having a chance to really be notified of what's going on. And there's a lot of back end stuff. So this 2 minutes that I have is to redress grievances. Like, it would be nice if it was 3. So I'm going to ask for that for 3 minutes, that the city council consider that it be 3 minutes instead of 2 minutes. The stoplight that went up on Highway B down by Quick Trip is really disruptive to every bit of traffic flowing through there. It's ridiculous to have the stoplight going at night when there's no construction. People are just backed up there waiting. And it's multiples of times worse when Generac, at shift change for Generac. Now, there's people, like if anybody knows Kellum Road, like there are people backed up in front of my driveway coming out of Generac at shift change. It's just another negative consequence of some of these projects that have been done with little thought to the infrastructure, a little thought to the community. This just wasn't anticipated. I get you're not going to notice everything, but that's a big problem that needs to be addressed. And when
Okay,
you add in not just the traffic from Generac, but you add in the trucks from the cold storage, it's a disaster in the afternoon
okay.
for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next up is Diane Holland.
Hi, good evening. As you heard, my name is Diane Holland. I've spoken here once before. I live in Trenton Township, just on Buckhorn Road, just a couple of miles down from the data center. So I'm not going to rehash things as to the negatives of this center, but rather I'm going to come not with accusations or out of anger, but just out of we can do better. I think maybe some of you got on this project, maybe, I'm going to give you grace like I would want grace, not knowing maybe enough about it. And some of us here maybe didn't know enough about it, but we sure are getting educated about these data centers now and the negative aspects of them. So I am appealing to you guys. I know that there's going to be a question and answer session coming up. And so I am really, really appealing to you guys to really hear these questions and give us honest answers. Not what you think we want to hear, but the real answers. If there were mistakes made, okay, own it. I was raised to own my mistakes, and I've raised my children to own their mistakes. We all make mistakes, but we've got to do better for our community moving forward. We can work together to make some solutions for what's happening with the data center here and the data centers that are going up across or trying to go up across Wisconsin and even this country. We can do better, and we have to do better. We need to be truthful. We need to own our mistakes and really try to come up with solutions with the community. That's what we're here for, to work as a community to make the best city and community and state that we can. So coming up for that question and answer session, please keep that in mind. And let's go there with ready to make solutions and move forward in a good way, a healthy way. Thank you.
Next up is Jody Sieschlag.
Hi, my name is Jody Sieschlag, and we live in the town of Trenton and have a business in the town of Trenton. And we own property in Beaver Dam. So we're taxpayers in both locations. We pay utilities in both locations. So I am concerned. It's not my main concern, but with the price of everything going up, I'm wondering, how is this going to affect our utilities? They've already gone up. From what I understand, the electric company Alliant is allowed to increase up to 8% every year. I don't know if that's just because of the data center or if that's just normal. I don't know. But the utilities and the property taxes have gone up on our Beaver Dam property. And I'm concerned. I'd like to know, I know nobody can answer here, but moving forward, with prices of everything going up, how much should we plan on things going up in those areas, property taxes and utilities? I'm also very concerned about more so the health implications. I haven't seen any studies that were done for the AI data center coming in to this area, but I've seen them from other existing ones, and the health concerns are very concerning. I've dealt with chronic illness for many years, and I know neighbors that have. And I don't want to move. We've lived in the Beaver Dam area my entire life. I was born in the Beaver Dam area. Beaver Dam was our town. And I've never been involved in politics, but this is really important. I don't think I'll ever not be involved in politics before, because I can't believe something this big that's changing, affecting so many lives and changing the landscape of everything, that this got done with nobody knowing. And that's just not okay. I don't know how that happened, and it was Town of Trenton as well. But I just wanted to be heard, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. Next, excuse me. Next up is Gabriel Reyes.
Hello, I'm Gabriel. I've lived in Beaver Dam all my life. I'm once again here to talk about the AI data center, but specifically, I want to talk about why I am certain that this AI bubble is going to burst. First, is this a bubble? The answer is yes. Many insiders, speculators, CEOs, including the current CEO of Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, have said as much. In fact, there's been a lot of talk of just how big this bubble is. One estimate even going as far as to say that it would be 17 times the size of the dot-com bubble. Now that we have established that, why am I so certain that it will burst? First of all, 95% of all AI companies have gone under, and the few that have not are only surviving because they're large parent companies, like Google, Amazon, Meta. These AI companies have failed to generate any kind of meaningful profits, especially as they continue to pump billions of dollars into their AI models. A JP Morgan report stated that the entire AI industry would need upwards of $650 billion in annual revenue in order to make a 10% return on investment. For reference, that equates to $180 from every Netflix subscriber. For the record, there are over 300 million Netflix subscribers. On top of failing to make any kind of serious profits, a lot of these companies are also embroiled in lawsuits and allegations. These range from simple copyright disputes from companies like Disney, Getty Images, Concord Music Group, and many more, to much more serious allegations. Allegations such as playing a hand in the suicide of 2 teenage boys, as well as much more disgusting reports that I will not go into here. Now, where exactly am I going with this, you may be wondering? Simple. These AI companies do not stand a chance at succeeding or lasting. Your assertions that they will be here to stay and that they won't just pick up and leave are completely unfounded and no basis in reality.
Okay, next up is Cody DeVries.
Cody DeVries. I live in the town of Fox Lake over by Randolph. And I guess, I don't know if you guys have thought about the implications about farther out, like all the power lines that are going up right in my backyard. Last year, I spent $14,000 to get all my wiring for my house, my barn, put underground because to avoid stray voltage. And now these big power lines are coming in, and I have 2 little girls and a little boy. They're 5, 2, and 6 months old. In the summertime, I can't keep shoes on them because they run around barefoot and run around the gravel like the farm kids that they are. And I can guarantee you there's going to be stray voltage coming from those things. I was on the side of the highway trying to change a tire, and they got big power lines over there, and I'm getting electrocuted as I'm trying to put the tire on, only because I was on my knees, and the only way I could do it is if I was standing up because my shoes were rubber soled. And I'm gonna have to worry about that with my kids. That concerns me. I don't want them getting electrocuted. I don't know I'm gonna keep shoes on them. It's just now I wasted $14,000 to myself, like, and we don't need this. All that farmland that's gone, it's not coming back. So I hope you guys can figure out how to make more food, because once it's gone, it's gone. And Wisconsin is the best possible state for it, practically. They could have put this data center somewhere else. I don't care. They can figure out how to get the water in the middle of the desert. Middle of the desert ain't got nothing. Nothing to worry about. Something. Just the concerns is the health implications. I work for water and wastewater in Randolph, and they're taking how much water, I don't know exactly, out of the aquifers. There's 4 main aquifers in Wisconsin, and I can guarantee you Randolph is on that. Is Meta gonna pay for the filtration system we're gonna need when radium starts popping up more and more because they're drawing so much water, the aquifer empties out and uranium starts falling in and start giving people cancer? There's a lot more to it than what you guys have realized, I think. And the way it came about, under the table, and I don't know how many people made money off of this whole thing, but it's kind of disgusting. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Deborah Dorford.
Deborah Dorford, City of Beaver Dam resident. Why is artificial intelligence never once mentioned in all of these handouts provided by the city and Meta? If AI is such a great thing, it should be mentioned repeatedly. On the back of this brochure, it says more information. This takes you to a Meta website that states, the Beaver Dam location will be optimized for our AI workloads as part of the highly advanced infrastructure. It goes on to state that Meta will be transitioning all of its current data centers to be fully AI structured. So I Googled, why is Meta not stating an AI data center and just stating data center? The AI overview states, there is secrecy around AI data centers, primarily to avoid scrutiny and potential pushback from communities concerned about their large consumption of power and water, as well as noise pollution. It goes on to state, by simply stating data center, companies can avoid triggering this opposition, which is often fueled by non-disclosure agreements signed with local officials that keep the specific nature of the facility and its potential impacts hidden. Did you all sign NDAs? Did any of you do any research about artificial intelligence before you voted yes? AI is not just to use more cell phones and internet services. It is being used to create more advanced robots capable of performing any human's job. Neuralink uses AI, where a chip is implanted into a person's brain. Transhumanism uses AI for the enhancement of the human condition through advanced technology. This is what you all have welcomed into this community. God help us all.
And finally, the last speaker is Wayne Oyen.
Hi, I'm Wayne Oyen. I live just over here at Emmett Weber's old house by St. Mark's. I don't know if any of you, I can't talk straight. I don't know if any of you got to listen to the WBEV radio podcast today for an hour, the community comment corner. On there was the founder of our Beaver Dam Education Data Center, Joe, along with 2 of our consultants, the environmentalist Sarah and our process consultant Prescott. They talked about things like the environment, a little bit on energy and impacts of the data center on our area in general, and financial obligation analogy that Sarah brought up about the marriage is pretty incredible. I think you guys should really listen to that. And again, they mentioned about the trust, things that you guys have heard here before, the lack we have of you now. Part of that is emails that we've sent you. I know some people have sent also. And they send it to not just their own ward, they send it to other representatives, other alderpersons. And I was not represented at the time because my 6th district were just appointed last meeting. And someone, at least, if not more, responded, you're not in my ward, or I don't represent you. What do you say to the people that were just up here a minute ago who talked about their farmlands and whatnot, who had eminent domain claimed on them by the Lion Energy Company, who started this program 6 years ago? I had the benefit of a doubt for them that they didn't think it was going to be an AI data center at the time, but now the rumors I get is that they knew way back when. That really bothers me. And how this was all treated so distinctly separate from our community. People have talked about how you're in this community, and after this is all over, you're going to be here too. People have talked how in a couple of years, we're not going to talk about this anymore. Baloney, we're going to talk about it. We're going to remember this. What I'm concerned about too, is we talk about effects. I want to know how much of the financial burden Meta is going to take for upgrading the power grid. If it's not 100%, then you have 100% failed, period. It is not my job to support Meta's requirement of new energy or water pumps or any daggum thing through my taxes, through my utility bill. You should understand that. Okay. So, yeah, we remember. Thank you.
Okay, that closes the public comment portion of our meeting, and we will move on to announcements. Any alders, any announcements? Anything you want to bring up? Alder Flaherty?
I only wish to ask that the record show that Alder Flaherty is tardy but present. Thank you. Having arrived about 10 minutes after the meeting started.
Thank you. So noted. Any other, Alder Burnett?
Are you gonna mention anything about Swan City Park? Otherwise I can.
You go right ahead.
Oh, if you haven't been down to Swan City Park yet, it is really beautiful. It's getting bigger and bigger every year. Sheriff Schmidt does a very good job organizing that and getting it up. And if you haven't been down there, go down there and check it out. It's beautiful.
Very good. Any other announcements?
Mayor, I have one.
Go ahead. Clerk.
Nomination papers started today for the even numbered districts. January 6th is the deadline to get everything back. 20 signatures is what's needed for an alderperson. And declarations of non-candidacy, if you're not going to rerun, those are due December 26th.
Very good. Thank you. And if there aren't any other announcements, I just have, well, I had 3, now I have 2 because Alder Burnett did one for me. But I just want to remind everyone that this Saturday, the 6th, there are going to be events all over town to celebrate the holiday season. It starts off with Santa's Hometown Holiday Adventure, which every year they continue to add new activities all over town. Our own Watermark is open from 10 to 2 with a variety of family activities. And then there are other activities just in many, many locations across the city, encouraging families and people to get out and do some fun activities for the holidays. The Chamber of Commerce will have an open house starting at 4, and at 4:30 is their annual tree lighting ceremony. And our own John Newman not only will be lighting their Christmas tree in honor of his upcoming retirement, but he will also be the parade marshal for the holiday parade, which starts at 5 o'clock. So again, we encourage everyone to head on downtown and enjoy the parade. And then finally, if you need to get into the holiday spirit, don't forget that there are several wonderful music opportunities to hear seasonal songs. The Red Kettle concert is Sunday the 7th at Beaver Dam High School, which is a fundraiser for the Salvation Army. The Beaver Dam Area Orchestra annual holiday concert will be at 5 and 7 o'clock on Saturday the 13th. If you've never been, I highly recommend that you go. It's just an absolutely amazing, amazing event. Lots of kids. There's always presents involved. Go at the 5 o'clock show if you want a little bit of a shorter program, but that's at 5 and 7. And then finally, the Beaver Dam Area Community Theater's Children's Choir will have their holiday concert at 2 o'clock on the 14th. So all kinds of opportunities for some holiday music. Next up, we have the disposition of the minutes from the Common Council meeting of November 17th. Can I get a motion? Alder Gansky?
Motion to approve the minutes from last meeting.
Thank you. Can I get a second? Alder Perkins?
Second.
Any questions or comments or corrections? All those in favor of approving the minutes from our last meeting, so signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So the minutes pass. Next up is our city administrator report.
I just have two quick announcements. I finally, after 2 months, finished the 400 pages of city code. I wrote about 10 pages of questions and I'm splitting them up and sending them out to department heads and blessing our attorney with a list of 4 pages of questions. So hopefully there will be some updates to our code book coming soon. And then today at administrative committee, we talked about moving forward with the HR specialist. And that was the position that was in the budget for 2026. So we've got the job description and the job ad ready to go out this week. So hopefully we can get somebody hired and on board for January. And to answer your question, I did discuss the idea of working with staff to get a consultant to manage that. And ultimately, we decided it probably was in our best interest to hire somebody. But we did have the conversation and did ask. That's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Any communications?
There are none this evening.
And then next up is the approval of the bills from November 14th through November 25th in the amount of $860,019.85. Can I get a motion? Alder Saab,
I'll make a motion to approve the bills as presented.
thank you. And a second, Alder Wild.
I'll make that second.
Thank you. Any discussion, any questions? We do have Kayla here, so she could answer questions if you have any. Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the bills, so signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The bills are passed. Next up, resolution number 98.
Resolution number 98-2025, a resolution modifying the 2025 capital budget and reallocating funds.
Okay, and in your packet, there was some more specifics about some of the 4 items that were included in that budget reallocation. Maybe Alder Saab, do you want to just give a quick summary of what the discussion was in admin?
Sure. So just kind of brief refresher, at our past meeting, we decided to spend down the remaining ARPA funds in fiscal year 2025 to kind of reduce the paperwork burden going into 26. That would require sort of an exchange of using ARPA money to cover past expenses with the understanding that we would use budget money to cover items that would have been paid for with ARPA money. The items that would be paid for with ARPA money are listed in your packet on the second page of the resolution. We did have a good discussion about the Hometown Plan Plaza project. I'm assuming Alder Fisher will bring up some of his points that were brought up during the discussion, but was a good discussion. It was not unanimously passed, but it did pass the committee. Administrator Berkey, is there any other things to kind of bring up? Does that pretty much cover it?
No, I think you got it.
Okay, we'll leave it at that.
Okay, so then can I get a motion? Alder Burnett,
Motion to approve this resolution.
can I get a second? Alder Gansky.
I'll second that motion.
So discussion, questions? President Yuds.
Mayor, I would like to separate the 13,000 Hometown Plaza project on its own. Have a separate vote just for that. Can we do that or not?
An amendment?
Did I amend the?
Yeah, I think once you have a motion, you can make a motion to amend it to make that a secondary vote.
What do you say, Larry? What's the easiest way to?
I think it has to, Alder should make that as a motion to amend.
Okay, so did you hear that? You need to make a motion.
I'll
to
make a
amend
motion to amend
the resolution.
capital budget reallocation and separate out the $13,000 for the Hometown Plaza on its own I want to say platform, but it's on its own, standing.
Well, you want to take a separate vote on that one?
Yeah, separate vote.
Okay, then I need a second on that motion. Thank you, Alder Bonnet. All those in favor of, so we're just voting on the amendment, which is to separate out, well, first, we,
To discuss the.
oh, we can, you're right, we should discuss the amendment before we vote on it. So, discussion?
President Yuds, or I don't want to speak on top of you, but if you would like to bring up what were the points that were brought up in committee, or I could do that.
Or
You can
Alder
discuss your points, I'll discuss mine.
Okay, looks like Alder Burnett, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, what's gonna happen to that $13,000 then if we would vote against spending that money on the hometown plaza project? We're gonna lose that money.
No, it sits in the fund balance of the capital fund, I believe.
Okay,
And I'm looking to Kayla, the finance director, to. Would you like to join the conversation?
Or you can add that to the transportation study implementation. I mean, that was kind of just a catch-all meeting fund.
I'm sorry, Kayla, but if you're gonna speak, you need to be on a mic.
So it would be my preference that we designate it for a purpose, just so that we all have clear direction as staff, and can kind of tidy up the ARPA funding closure. But you certainly could leave it if you choose to do that. You could add it to a different item. You could add it to an item on the list. That transportation study implementation was kind of just a catch-all of the remaining funds that were freed up from that closure of ARPA funds. So you could tack it on to that. So there's options.
Alder Zob?
Mayor, I mean, between Larry and I, could we just give an overview of what the hometown plan project is? I mean, so the $13,000, I mean, you shared me the email, it's for conceptual design. So it's not a complete like build package, but it is for 3D modeling, rendering, model of the plaza, right? So we would presume that this would be used by the hometown group to advertise the project and to garner funding. We have some members of the hometown. I don't want to speak for you, but I'm assuming that's your purpose for this.
Can we?
Because they were.
Mark or would either of you care to comment? I mean, you're welcome to come to the podium if you want to. You guys have kind of led the charge. So what you intend?
Sorry, Mayor.
Yeah.
Gerald Lund, I'm from the town of Beaver Dam. Yeah, this is something that we've been working on for, close to 2 years. And we've really ramped up our efforts in the last 6 months to try to design something that would enable Beaver Dam to move forward with a community centered out near the downtown and for an area for the different markets and the different festivals. So the $13,000 is indeed to try to get us a cost estimate so we can go forward and go into the community and try to solicit other funds and so forth to try to move the project forward. We've got a drawing done by Mark, and we've got a company that has been identified to give us the estimate. So that's all the $13,000 is for right now, is kind of one of these early steps in a process to move forward with the Hometown Plaza Group's idea of a downtown plaza. Does that answer everybody's question?
President Yates, you have a question?
I have a question. Did we open this meeting up to the public? We did?
Someone speak.
Okay.
Any other questions for the hometown group?
I just,
Alder Bonnet?
that when the original presentation was brought forth, and I only recall about 1% of it, but this was the first step, as you described. Weren't we shown some visuals, conceptual?
That's correct.
And was there a price tag kind of
We
estimated?
just did our unofficial estimate by us, not by a company that would do this more formally. You know, none of us are in the business of building plazas and so forth. So yeah, we said it would be around $2 million. That's what we were estimating, just to give you an idea of what kind of monies we would be looking for in the future from the public or whomever. So then the next step was to go to a company using this $13,000 worth of funds and try to get a formal estimate.
Thank you.
Alder Fisher?
Yeah, I just had a couple questions. Have you spoken to the landowners that own the bus station and the building next to it? And what was their response?
I've spoken to not about what we were going to do with the plaza, not about the plaza's idea, but whether or not there was going to be an availability of their buildings. And I only spoke to one. I did not speak to the warehouse, which was the old Greyhound station. But the integrated solutions I did, yes.
Do you think it's a good idea to let these people know what you have planned before you even talk?
I think that's putting the cart before the horse.
I
we're
think
just trying
that's
to,
what you did.
We're just trying, well, you know what, the conversation I had was with somebody who was working on my car, 3 cars, to be honest with you. And he had mentioned to me that he was looking to move back to his hometown. Okay. That's how the conversation started. Not by me soliciting anything. It was him originating the conversation. I just took that information and gave it to my group and said there's a possibility that he would like to move back to his hometown, and that would be a possibility for this area to be the place for a downtown plaza.
Can you guarantee the city will have no financial involvement in this property?
No, I'm not guaranteeing anything. I'm just looking for $13,000 to get an estimate for how much this would cost as an early step for what could be a very long-term project.
Okay, let's talk about the 13,000. You realize that's tax money you're talking about, and we're asking the constituents that have worked hard for that money to take these ARPA funds, which everybody seems to think are pennies from heaven, which are actually hard-earned tax dollars that people have were taxed on. This money can be used in so many other areas rather than a possible plaza that we're going to have to, if that plaza is built, is the city going to be maintaining that? You know the answer to that question. Snow removal, the few dollars they get from, let's say it's a farmer's market.
Alder Fisher?
Yes.
If you have a specific question for our guest, great. Otherwise, we will get to the council discussion and debate. But do you have any other questions for Mr. Lund?
Yes, who's going to maintain this park down there or this plaza down there should it be built? Is it going to be private funds or city funds?
I have an answer that is a little vague because I'm not completely, the intention was to give this property to the city.
So the city will end up with the property.
With low maintenance cost.
Kind of like the watermark where we were going to finance that through
Okay,
donations.
any other questions, Alder Fisher? We can discuss in a minute. But
I'll let Jack talk.
question, Jack, for our guest?
Yes, when you came the first time, the cost was at 1.2 million. Now it's 2 million.
Mark, what was it? We said
1.2 million specifically. I remember that. Now,
2 to 3, it's never been
no,
1.2
yes, it
million. It's
was.
been 2 to 3 million.
No,
Oh,
don't tell me
okay, so
that.
we
I remember specifically
reflect
saying
differently.
1.3 and 1.2, and I thought, you won't get the property only for 1.2 million. You haven't even moved a stone yet.
President Yads, any other questions for our
That'll be
guest?
it.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Lund? Okay, thank you very much. We
You're
appreciate it.
welcome.
Okay, now let's discuss any other. Yeah, because we need to vote on the amendment of whether we want to separate this line item out from this resolution and vote on it separately, or to keep it as part of the existing resolution. Yes, Alder Gansky?
So a couple things that I brought up in the admin meeting, but related to whether we want to separate it out or not. I mean, these projects, had we not used the ARPA funds for something else, these were projects that were already basically funded and would not have had to come back to the council. And I brought this up when we did vote to use the ARPA funds for something else, that are the hometown funds, are hometown projects still going to be funded? Is it still going to be funded? And you know, I voted in good faith to use the ARPA funds for something else, and I think other people on the council did as well. And I think it's wrong to separate it out at this point when it was already going to get funds. That and okay, so that's one thing. Another thing to bring up is it sounds like there is some discussion or argument about what the cost of this is going to be. That's the whole purpose of this study, is to understand from a professional, how much is this going to cost? So then we can have a real discussion about whether we want to actually do it or not. Right now, we don't really know what it's going to be. So how can we make that decision? Voting for the $13,000 doesn't mean we're going to build this thing for sure. It means we can make an informed decision about it later. It could end up saving the city a lot of money. It could end up saving the hometown group's time, and they can work on something else. I mean, if it comes in at $10 million, that changes the whole equation, doesn't it? But we don't know that right now. The other thing I want to bring up is this was in the comprehensive plan that we approved as a group. So it's not like this is totally out from left field. This is part of the city's comprehensive plan. So whether we work on it right now or we work on it later, if we want to implement those things, this is one of those. That's all I have.
Okay, Alder Fisher.
You know, there's the Swan City Park down there still could use some enhancements to the money that we've already spent. And I just think that for the city and for the city residents, it would make much more sense to put that $13,000 to work down at Swan City Park rather than trying some pie in the sky idea that we haven't even, the landowners don't even know if they want to sell at this point in time, or at least one of them apparently. And the price, after the discussion in public that has been had on this, is going to skyrocket. So this is taxpayer money. Let's spend it down on the park. There's plenty of stuff that needs to be done down there where the residents of Beaver Dam can all benefit.
Any other discussion? Alder Zapp?
I just want to point out that it was our understanding that the plan, while would be for that site, it would theoretically be able to use at a different site as well. So there is that potential that if that site doesn't work out for whatever reason, it is not a lost investment. The plan could be used at a different property with the same footprint. So it's not a spot specific. I mean, it is designed for a footprint, but that footprint could be elsewhere. So I just wanted to clarify that was brought up in committee as well.
Good. Any other comments? Alder Burnett?
Yeah. On I supported the amendment just to see what was in the 13,000, but I guess I want to recognize the group who have spent many months in deliberations on this. This is a lot of work. But as we're kind of finding out in the dialogue here, this is a major issue. And this is just some small step for $13,000 to me, that if we can get a better snapshot, or the hometown group can get a better snapshot of what the options are and the cost and that, I mean, I'm of the opinion that it's a very low cost investment. And you know, at the culmination of that review, and whatever it is that's going to trigger the big decisions, there's going to be a lot of discussion, and there should be. But to me, $13,000 at this point is just a very low cost alternative to find out some more real facts. So whenever we vote, I am in favor of it.
Any other comments? Alder Flaherty?
I only wish to say that as listening to everyone's comments here, I think that we might feel a little better if there were a bit more clarity. What are we paying for? Will we be able to touch it and, you know, file it away for future use when it's done? Who will have it? Who takes possession? You know?
Someone from the committee wanna
Yes, I'd like to,
inform us
I'd like to ask that.
that what do we get for the 13?
What can we hold in our hand, and is it something we could take off the shelf and go back to later? Is there intrinsic value to it, or does it expire when we change our minds with something?
Mark Brzezinski, I was longtime resident, born here in town. I live outside of town on Fairway Drive. I'm the one who did all the renderings and design of the plaza. What happens with that 13,000, we develop the plan, we get the plan off of my renderings, my drawings. And I have a 20-year background in design and engineering with that. I currently work at Newman Pools and am employed there. So what happens with that plan is it's going to be the city's plan. You own it. So it's not proprietary to me or to the committee. It's the city's plan. It's the city's money. We're trying to do this, what was already approved months ago. And I think there needs to be transparency and open-mindedness. I just heard from before about energy costs going up. The whole point of the solar arrays is to make this zero cost and supply the Watermark with all the energy that needs with the amount of solar arrays. So please educate yourselves on the new solar tech that's out there. Every one of us needs to do their own research and become well-versed. And yes, the city will own this property, just like every other park in this community. And with the community growing, there needs to be more staff, more tax dollars, more park space as part of a growing community and growing town. But yes, the city will own the plan, so you can use it in a different location. Again, it's not that location specific. It is designed for multiple areas it can be placed at for that. But again, the city would own the plans at further use if it doesn't happen in 2 years, 3 years, say 10 years down the road. Things open up again and we need more space, more places for bands and other things. The city owns that plan, owns the rights. So.
Thank you. Alder Wild?
I might be a little off here on what I'm going to ask, but as the liaison to the senior center, we did have a presentation by the man who was directing this whole project. And one concern I had was all the things that are planned to be taken away from other places in the community to go to this plaza. Okay, what happens to our park? What happens to to Swan Park? What happens to the Watermark? What happens to the farmer's market? I mean, that's a dream they have, but have people really agreed to do this? I think that a lot has been done before some research has been done about how people who are affected are going to react to this. I don't think there's been enough done on that. It's all assumptions that all these projects are going to suddenly come from the plaza and go away from all our other places where they are. So I'm just a little concerned. It seems like they're getting ahead of themselves. That's just my opinion.
Okay, any other discussion before we vote on the amendment? Okay, so as we vote on the amendment, if you vote yes, that means you want to pull the 13,000 hometown plan project out of the list and vote on it separately. If you vote no, it means you want to leave it in the resolution as it stands, and then we'll just vote on the resolution. Okay, so Tracy, do you want to call the roll?
Bierman,
Yes.
Bonnet,
No.
Burnett,
No.
Fisher,
Yes.
Flaherty,
No.
Gansky,
No.
Hiley,
No.
Keel,
No.
Olson,
No.
Perkins,
No.
Wild,
Yes.
Yuds,
Yes.
Zap.
No.
So the amendment does not carry. So now we go back to the original resolution. Any other discussion about the resolution? Okay, seeing none, I guess we're ready to call the roll.
Bonnet,
Yes.
Burnett,
Aye.
Fisher,
No.
Flaherty,
Aye.
Gansky,
Aye.
Hiley,
Aye.
Keel,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Perkins,
Aye.
Wild,
Aye.
Yuds,
No.
Zap,
Aye.
Bierman.
Aye.
So the resolution passes. Next up is resolution number 99.
Resolution number 99 2025, a resolution adopting the 2025 multi-use trail plan.
And let's see, Todd, did you want to speak on this one or?
Sure, I can give a little intro. So somewhat relatable to what we just talked about. This is another hometown plan led project that came out of a comprehensive plan. So back in March, council approved an agreement with MSA to help out the hometown plan and staff come up with some concept plans for multi-use paths and estimates throughout the city. They were specifically looking at a few different items. One being a pedestrian path along Corbett Drive and Francis Lane, a crossing over 151 to get to the YMCA, connection to the Gold Star Trail, and then miscellaneous other trails throughout the city. That said, we made it through the agreement we had. And in the packet tonight is the 2025 multi-use trail plan. There's an overall map of the paths they came up with, along with estimates. There currently is no funding source to construct any of the paths, but staff does feel it's important to get this on record through resolution by council so that if grants, fundraising, whatever it may be in the future, that it is on record and we can leverage it accordingly. That said, we do recommend adopting the 2025 multi-use trail plan.
Alder Burnett?
Yeah, just to supplement a little bit with what Todd just said. There, if you looked at the information, there's 8 options that were identified by MSA, all the way from $106,000 to 4.3 million. But the real issue here, and this was passed unanimously by the operations group, that this sets us up so if funds become available, Todd can jump on whatever option we choose out of those 8.
Okay, how about if we get a motion? Alder Olson
Motion to approve as presented, please.
and a second, Alder Perkins.
Second.
Very good. Discussion. Alder Olson?
Just want to keep reiterating the importance of finding pedestrian access across 151. As we keep growing that area, we've got apartments going up behind Walmart right now. There's going to be more and more residential out there, and that's just going to be an area we're going to need to connect and back into our community. So really appreciate something going towards, expanding that access going across 151 for pedestrians, because continuing to see people walk across over by, the hotels and up by Walmart, and then that's just, it's always scary when you see some kids trying to walk across there. So hope to see something in the near future.
Anyone else? President Yads.
I would really like to see that walkway go across the highway out there where Alderman Olson was talking about. We just spent $13,000 on a project for a wish, but this is a want. We got to decide if we want wishes all the time or we're going to spend money on wants. This is a need. We have before someone gets run over out there or worse. This is an actual need for us.
Alder Burnett.
Yeah, the Gold Star Trail has been approved by the county up until Highway 26 so far. They still need to finish buying easements and stuff like that, but it's been approved by the county up until Highway 26. So it won't be long till the next stage gets going and heads over and connects to Beaver Dam.
Thanks for the update on that. Good. Any other questions or discussion? Alder's up.
So I'm very encouraged by the map. So my trade, I do work on transportation planning. And knowing that DOT is working on a freeway conversion study for this section of 151, they will be looking to plans like this. So I'm looking at Route 2 where that's the one I would like to see, I guess, more actual designated crossways, but starting with Route 2, I mean, that's a start. The Department of Transportation will be looking at that to see what has the city designated for routes, and then that opens up avenues for cost share on improvements. So if they're looking to replace that bridge, the city can then say, hey, we want a pedestrian amenities on this bridge. It's in our plan. We want you to come to the table and help fund this. Like, they will be looking for these plans to help with those decisions. So that's one possible way to turn this plan into an actual reality, is with that freeway conversion study. And I'd hope we would be sending this over to DOT the next time you guys talk with them that, hey, we got a plan now. Here we go. You must consider this. There's also a lot along the right of way. It looks like the green, what is it? The future Route A and Route 3B hug really close to the DOT right of way. Are they, is it in the right of way or just right next to it, the right of way? Todd, do you know if
It's just very conceptual. It's just,
okay.
I mean, it could go either way.
Okay. So again, it's just more opportunities to work with DOT should they move forward with the freeway conversion study on having more pedestrian amenities along the highway. So it's a good opportunity. Very, very happy. If we can get more, that's great, but I'll take this. So thanks.
Good. Any other discussion? Okay, then I think we are ready to vote.
Burnett,
Aye.
Fisher,
No.
Flaherty,
Aye.
Gansky,
Aye.
Hiley. Aye. Keel,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Perkins,
Aye.
Wild. Aye. Yads,
Aye.
Zap,
Aye.
Bierman,
Aye.
Burnett.
Aye.
And the resolution passes. Next up is resolution number 100.
Resolution number 100-2025, a resolution charging off delinquent miscellaneous accounts receivable.
And I think, Kayla, I think we're going to ask you one more time to come on up and just give a really brief explanation. I know there's people on council who maybe haven't been through this process once yet, so.
Sure. So this process is fairly routine. We do it a few times a year so that we're not coming to council every month on this topic. But there are a handful of things that the city will send out invoices for. A number of them are some ordinance violations that are actually have the ability to go onto the tax roll. And so typically we'll send those with the tax roll. These items are those that don't qualify for tax roll. With the exception of one tonight, I am bringing forward. This was the case where, when preparing for the tax roll, there was an individual that, had sold their home and, the title company hadn't handled the transfer with these outstanding funds. So that didn't feel like it was something that should go on the new owner. So I'm working with the title companies to see if there's a way to resolve that. If that doesn't get resolved, then we'll go ahead and send these on to bonded collectors. So the entire list tonight in front of you, after tonight, we would send them on to bonded collectors. They continue collection efforts. They do take a percentage, a commission percentage. And so occasionally we'll get checks from them for things that they've collected, but we've attempted to send out statements. We usually have very little contact information for these individuals. There's really not a way for us to do that. Bonded Collectors just has a whole other, a lot of other resources that we don't have to try to collect, so.
Okay, good. Any questions for Kayla before we get a motion?
Can I ask now?
Yeah.
I'm trying to recall from last year, but I feel there's a repeat offender on here as well with the facilities. My hope wasn't, I wasn't gonna see their name again this year, but I feel I do. What leverage, not saying we can't respond to these facilities, but at some point, these facilities do need to be held responsible for asking for assistance and paying for the assistance in which they received. I know we can't not go, but am I correct that there's, okay, my question is there repeat offenders?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, something that would be a question.
And I feel like Chief Wesley would probably be more appropriate to have that conversation with, because it's their calls that relate to his department. But yes, that those types of facilities kind of are an ongoing issue, and you'll see on these lists pretty repetitively.
Okay, can I get a motion? Alder Burnett?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 100, 2025.
And a second? Alder Zopp?
Second.
Any other discussion or debate? Then I think we're ready to vote.
Fisher,
Aye.
Flaherty,
Aye.
Yansky,
Aye.
Hiley,
Aye.
Keel,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Perkins,
Aye.
Wild,
Aye.
Yuds,
Aye.
Zop,
Aye.
Bierman,
Aye.
Bonnet,
Aye.
Burnett.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we have presentation and possible approval of Jeff Bierman to the Operations Committee. Again, he is, will be filling the vacancy left by Alder Anderson, former Alder Anderson. Any questions, discussion? Alder Olson,
Make a motion to approve?
and a second? Alder Perkins?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Do we need to do a roll call, Tracy, or can we just?
Voice.
All those in favor of accepting Jeff Bierman on the Operations Committee, so signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Alder Burnett. And a second? Alder Gansky?
Second.
All those in favor, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Aye.
An acceptance speech.